Welcome to On Topic Retro, episode 30. I'm John Cummins, and joining me tonight is Shannon Eno. And tonight we're talking about Dynamite Headdy. How's it going, man?
It's going good. Going good. How are you?
Pretty good. It's Tears of the Kingdom quarter of the year.
Quarter of the year,
yeah.
if we're lucky.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like a disease. Like you just can't get rid of it. You just got to play it.
Yes. It's all I want to do, and that's unfortunately no time to actually do it.
So to the point where the other day I was driving down the road and I looked over and I seen this little Mazda car and it had like some paint missing off the back of its trunk, and the shape of the paint that was missing, like the bare spots, kind of looked like silhouettes of the champions from Breath of the Wild. And I was like kind of wondering, I was like, is that stickers they have on the back? You know, it's like on my brain, like I'm thinking about it. And then I get closer and I'm like, nope, that's just paint missing. It just kind of happens to look like there was a big chunk missing that kind of looked like, was it Duroc, the Goron? And then there was like some smaller ones, little blips, and it looked like the rest of them. And I was like, nope, just paint gone.
Yeah, right. When you're at work or something and you're like, man, if only I could just fuse these two things together and wait a minute.
Well, yeah, it stinks because I'm sitting at work and I feel like I know Dan and Adam kind of have like some more sporadic work schedules, or a lot of times Adam's working at night, so he's playing Zelda during the day, and I'm just getting all these messages and they're like, yeah, I did this, I did that, and it's like, man, I'm stuck at
right.
Stuck at work.
Yep.
Ah, man.
Our time will come.
But
maybe.
Tonight we're not here to talk Tears of the Kingdom, as much as I could just talk about that probably for a while, but we really need to talk about Dynamite Headdy. This one's been postponed a couple times, and we really need to get this one out.
Yeah, let's do it. It's not like it's a bad game. Just
nope.
I just got to take the time to do it.
So before we get too deep into Dynamite Headdy, we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping. As far as the last month's Retro Rewind Champions contest for Dynamite Headdy, the winner was you.
Yeah.
So I think I had a few submissions for points, and you had the most. I was kind of thinking that there was going to be some more challengers, but the further we went, the less people hopped in there and submitted. So you took the win. You got $10. Did you buy any games with that?
Not yet.
Holding on to it, huh?
Well, just I haven't decided. Yet. I'm sure something will spark my interest soon.
Yeah, there'll be upcoming stuff. You can always throw it towards some vouchers too if you want to go that route.
True. That's true. Plenty of games, just no time to play them in.
This is my case as well. Way too many things. I think I've bought at least 10 games just in the last month and haven't played any of them.
Right.
Except for Tears of the King. But with that contest being over, means the start of a new contest. And the bad thing is the show got postponed. So this is the first time that I'm announcing it, and there's only 10 days left. So I don't know. I might make the executive decision to extend this one. Maybe we'll do a 2-month and just kind of allow for this to sink in. So many people are playing Tears of the Kingdom, and probably will be for the foreseeable future. So I might extend this one, and maybe they can find some people can find time to hop in and play it here and there somewhere. But the contest this month is the DK Coin Challenge. This is for Donkey Kong Country 2. So basically, as you're playing through the game, I believe there's 40 DK coins total that can be collected. And as you're going through the game and you're saving, they will show on your save screen whenever you go to load your profile, so you can see how many coins you've collected. If you take a picture of that screen and show your coins, whoever has the most coins by the end of the challenge will win $10 of their choice. And if we have, a bunch of people submit 40 coins, and we got some tiebreaker methods we can use to decide a winner. But that's the DK Coin Challenge Retro Rewind Champions contest.
Yeah,
Well, and
great
that's
game. Great game.
yeah.
So.
It kind of stinks whenever you get these uh, big current games that kind of just eat all of your time that you have to play games.
Right.
Usually you could find some time to play some older ones, but uh, putting probably end up putting 200 plus hours into this game. Probably not going to find a whole lot of time to play anything that's
Right.
not that. But just to mention it, I don't think I've got a single submission. So if anybody wants $10, they can just go in and beat the first level and submit a count of one DK coin, and that you could win $10 doing just that.
Do
The
it.
right now the bar's pretty low, so hop
Plus, it
in
is the
there.
best DK game. I'm just putting it out there.
It is really good. I mean, Tropical Freeze is really good,
Tropical Freeze is good,
but
but
out of the original trilogy, this is the best one.
yes,
Even if Dan would fight me that the third game is better, but it doesn't have as good a Kongs in it, so
that's right.
I'm definitely going with the second
I mean,
game.
it does still have Dixie, and Dixie is the superior Kong. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Again,
but Diddy is better than
but
Kitty.
yes, agreed. Agreed.
And if you have to have, I mean, it takes two to play the game usually,
That's right.
unless you're just ultra good and don't ever get hurt.
Right.
But yeah, submit your DK coins and possibly win some money. That's pretty much it for the housekeeping. I think I will leave that running. We'll probably use the same game for the month of June as well. That way we can give people some chances to submit some DK coins.
Awesome.
All right. Let's go ahead and move in and talk about some Dynamite Headdy. Get this thing started. So first things first, go ahead and share your experience there, Shannon.
So my experience with this game was is playing it for this retro rewind. I was talking beforehand before we kind of started the show, but I did not. I knew of Treasure, who made the game, but never really played very many of their games. I didn't have a Genesis growing up. My buddy did, but I think he had the Sonic games, maybe Golden Axe, one or two other games, but nothing like this.
All the would be essentials back then
Yeah,
when you didn't know about Treasure.
that's exactly it. And so since then, I've been able to play a few of their games. But this is the first time with Dynamite Headdy, and it's kind of a fever dream. It's there's a lot going on. Um,
That's an understatement.
and it took me a while to kind of get used to like what was even going on, what I could do, what on the screen was going to hurt me and what wasn't going to hurt me.
Oh yeah.
Like, because there's just things are always moving on the screen. And sometimes like, okay, is that, oh nope, that doesn't, if it doesn't matter, I can go through that without getting hurt. but I was really blown away by the visuals. I thought this was really well done game, and just the fact that they got it to run on a Genesis was, I think, pretty amazing. Um, and it was a lot of fun, but it's also brutally hard, at least to
Yep.
me. So the only reason I was able to get the high score that I was is because I kept playing those first levels over and over again and found the little bonus point things, and collected enough of those to pull out the high score, kind of at the last minute. But yeah, I mean, it was a fun time. I'm kind of wish that it wasn't quite as hard, because then it sounds and looks like there's some game changes. The way the game plays a little bit kind of becomes a shmup for a little bit later in the game, and I never got to any of that. But yeah, it'll be a game I definitely come back to from time to time. And um, man, I just wish there was a way to kind of jump like I don't know. Is there any codes or anything to this game? Maybe there's a level select some way I don't know about. Because I'd love to
Uh,
experience some of those later things. But yeah, uh,
they're I I don't have a list, but I guarantee there are codes out there for this game. There has to
probably,
be.
probably I'll have to look into that. But how about you? Uh,
So I've known about this game for a really long time. I've had several people tell me that I need to play it, uh, but I had not played this game either until this retro rewind, and this game is way harder than I'm capable of handling. I didn't make it very far at all. Maybe a little ways into Act Two. I can't remember if I completed Act Two or not, but uh, even just the first boss, the trouble brewing, uh, it took me several attempts to figure that out, and just I don't want to say that the game doesn't control well, but the game is definitely hard to. Uh, it's very timing based, like
yeah,
jumping and throwing and jumping and throwing and hitting the right spots that you need to. And I will say that as you're playing, like you get better at it, but
hmm,
there's still some like pinpoint, precise actions that you you have to make
yeah,
sometime, and also just learning where to go.
right,
Sometimes it's kind of difficult to get a feel for the level, and a lot of them are so different as you're like going through there. Even just how the game starts out, when you have no idea what's going on. It's kind of like a cinematic,
right,
at the beginning, and next thing you know, you're going, and yeah, it's the artwork of this game is very top notch. I'm really amazed that it runs the way it does on the
hmm,
Genesis. This is a very colorful game, and it's very sharp. Like
yeah,
everything about it just screams, treasures, focal point that they want to put out, a system pusher for pretty much every game that they make, and this game is not an exception to that. They definitely put a lot into this one as well. And kind of as we were talking earlier, being a very early treasure game, and they're just throwing out hits, man, just right from the beginning.
yep,
It, I was kind of thinking about it too, like it's early for them. This game is, but it's kind of late for the Genesis. So that just the fact that they put out so many hits at pretty much the end of the Genesis life
right.
cycle, I think what was the Genesis was like a 89, right? As a
I think
introduction.
so. Yeah, it would have been right there at the end of the 80s.
So I think 89, and then you have Gunstar Heroes coming out in 93. So it's
Mhm.
4 years into the Genesis life before you even get Gunstar Heroes.
And
And then
Genesis was
they just
wrapping up by the night, what, 95, 94,
yeah,
95?
90 well, yeah, 95 you could get 95 was Saturn, so you were already
Right.
and you're already moving. You had in 90 what, 94 or 90, either 93 or 94, you could already get Sega CD. And then,
Mhm.
infamously 32X
Right.
kind of pooped out there
Yep.
right before Saturn did, or same time, almost like right on the heels of it. And in fact, I think there was supposed to be a port of this game to the 32X, but the system performed so poorly sales wise that they decided to abandon it.
Oh wow.
But no, this is a game that's definitely worth playing. I really wish that well, even with Rewind, it's not friendly. It's one of
No,
those
yeah.
games.
Yeah, I was, you're talking about the way it controls, and it, it's I saw something online where somebody was almost kind of comparing how, like, you have to really think ahead right before, because you almost have to plan on, like, if you're gonna. So we haven't really talked about the main thing. You attack by throwing your head, by detaching, like throwing your
Yep.
head at enemies, right? And so, but you almost have to, like, do it a split second before you need it. It's definitely like a little more timing to it. And I saw it compared almost like, to Simon Belmont's whip,
Yep.
almost like how you're going back before you go forward. And while he's not really going back with his head, but it's almost like that. It
There's like a
almost
slight
feels like,
pause.
yeah. And so you really have to kind of build that into your rhythm, of the game while you're playing. And so, yeah, I thought that was kind of an interesting way of thinking about it. Um, so almost, and of course, then how can we not compare them to Plock, right? With the throwing of the body
Is
part.
It is very Plock like, and Plock is not a it's not a walk in the park. But I I would say the Dynamite Headdy feels even a little bit more difficult than Plock. Like, I think I made it further into Plock, uh, quicker,
Yeah, just some of
less
those later,
painfully.
some of
Although,
those later
yeah,
levels of Plock too. So we need Sam to be the judge of that, which one is actually tougher, right? Because he
yeah,
he actually is one of the few people I know that's actually beaten Plock. So we'll have to see. We got to get him. We got to get him on board playing this.
yeah. He might have. I mean, Sam's a big treasure guy. He's might have already taken
That's
this one
true.
down. I'm not sure. Before we go too much further, I want to go ahead and talk a little bit about the story that's given, the little bit of story. Hetty is the central protagonist of the game, as we mentioned. He arrives in North Town to find that an evil puppet named Dark Demon is in the midst of attacking the puppet town to select which of the peaceful toys should live and which should be converted into his evil minions. Hetty's captured and rejected by the Dark Demon's forces. He's dropped into a dust cargo to be thrown into the incinerator. However, Hetty escapes the clutches of Dark Demon's minions and sets off to defeat the evil king. However, trouble's afoot, and not only the puppet world's filled with Dark Demon's minions, but to reach the evil overlord's castle, Hetty must defeat Dark Demon's elite guard, the Keymasters. To make matters worse, Hetty's followed by Trouble Bruin, a puppet jealous of Hetty's success. And Trouble Bruin wants to be the star instead of Hetty and will stop at nothing to rid of him. Uh, it's kind of just the setting of it, that they're puppets and
Hmm.
toys and
And you can actually see the strings. So, like,
yeah,
this is basically a puppet show, right? And, like,
yep,
the backgrounds and everything are made to look as if they were the backgrounds of a marionette
Yeah, like a
puppet.
puppet show. Yeah, that's going on.
Yep. And so they might be shifting and changing. The background's being carried in and out, kind of a thing. It's very much you're watching a performance of this. This is
It
a story you're doing,
it's
that
pretty
you're watching.
ingenious.
It really is. I do have to say though, I have to laugh every time Dark Demon is is the evil puppet. I mean, could you get him more on the nose? Like
Yeah,
they didn't really. They're like, yeah, Dark Demon, yeah, that sounds good. Like it's nothing too thought provoking. You're definitely calling it what
yeah.
it is.
Well, I
Um,
mean, Dynamite Headdy's throwing his head, so that's kind of a
right.
on the nose as well.
That's very true. Um, but yeah, so I the story is it's definitely cute, and it's not going to be anything in depth, but that's not what this game is about anyway, and it would be similar to probably what you would be the story you would be getting if you were watching a puppet show, um especially at this time. So um it's just very cool how they set it up and how they carry it um through the game, and changing of the backgrounds, and really just getting from they call them acts, right?
Yeah,
Not levels, they're acts.
yeah. They're acts,
um
acts to
it
the story
right, you got
or a
your
play.
health bar, which it took me a long time to figure out. I was like, how do I know how much damage I've taken, or
Yep,
how much damage I have left? It took me a while to figure out that your damage bar is really like a headlight, or a headlight
it's a spotlight.
spotlight, I mean, in the upper corner of the screen, and with an H on it. And then when you're fighting a boss, there's a second one that appears on the opposite end that has an E. I think it's an E, if I remember correctly. That slowly kind of gets darker as you're
Defeating the enemy. Yeah,
defeating the enemy, or as you're getting defeated. Um, and so yeah, it's very much they're leaning really into the presentation. It's really what this game is about. Like I said, there's so much going on the screen at once, though, that sometimes it can actually draw you away from what you're supposed to be doing, and you're like, "Where am I?" you know, it becomes a little chaotic, but in a fun way, in a really good way. I never felt like any of the levels were unfair. Like they were tough and hard, and everything. Like the bosses take a ton of damage, which
they're very
I
spongy.
they really are. And from my reading, it sounds like they actually increased the difficulty in the international version. So the Japanese version is actually supposed to be a little bit easier. The bosses don't take as much damage. They don't dish out as much damage, kind of a thing. But so it's kind of the opposite of what you were getting quite often. A lot back then was okay.
Yeah, usually it's
Let's
the other way around.
let's make it easier when we take it out of Japan. But so I guess if I do wish that maybe there was a little either a little easier, or like some kind of toggle for difficulty, maybe in the options menu, kind of a thing, might have been nice. um and I mean, if you're losing a life or whatever, it's pretty, I mean, they pretty much just put you back where you left off. But man, if you have to like game over, you're starting
It's
back over,
oh
like,
man, yeah.
and that, I mean, that's rough. There's no save points within the levels or anything like that. So
The only the only saving grace is if you're playing on Switch, you get a save state.
that's right. That's right. And thank goodness, because I needed to use a save state just to put the game down for a while and then come back to it. I'm like, I don't want to have to start over every time. Starting over plenty as it was.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough one. I definitely found it very tough to even start to kind of get through it. Uh, to the point where after I bet I never finished Act Two. I bet I got to the end of Act Two, uh, couldn't get past it. Now that I'm
Yeah.
thinking back.
Yep. It does, and it continues to get harder. Because I think I get to the end of maybe Act 4. I'm getting confused here. Sometimes it's like where one level begins and one level ends.
It's
It's
yeah,
like,
it's it can be kind of hard to tell.
right? And
So yeah, the end of Act 4 is the third keymaster. Uh, it's like boss is Bino, who is a oh, what is he? He's the one that I'm trying to remember what he looks like.
right. I think that's as far as I got, because I think shortly after that, maybe into Act 5 is when I game overed and I was like, I'm done. I was like, I got my score. As much as I wanted to keep going, I really wanted to get to some of the um, plane flying, where you're kind of in a plane and you're like I said, kind of a shmup.
Yeah, I didn't get to that either. So that's
I think that's more
definitely
like that might be 6 or so.
yeah. It looks like Act 6 is the scene 1 is called the flying games. So
I mean, and what I really wanted to do was get to the giant baby head boss. The bosses, the keymasters, are extremely weird and strange.
yeah, we
The way
can.
that they look and stuff. But yeah, there's a baby head that supposedly, as you're defeating, the baby gets older. Like you take off the baby's face. This sounds gruesome, but it's really not.
Yeah,
And keeping in mind that they're all puppets,
yeah,
um, marionette puppets. But and then underneath that face is like a man's face, and then when you take off that shell, it's like an old person's, like
yep.
an old man's face, kind of a thing. It's just so bizarre that I actually do want to like get to that point. It's just, man, is it hard? Yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
could see, even with rewind or something like that, like it's not going to be the easiest game.
yeah, it says here Babyface is the fourth keymaster.
Oh,
Needs a so you're not that far away on your playthrough
maybe
there.
not then. Okay. Yeah. There, I know we kind of have jumped into gameplay here. Hopefully that's okay, but
Yeah, no, that's fine on this one.
not much else to say about the story. Um, I have to say, if I had my biggest gripe with the game, I mean, yeah, the difficulty is definitely tough, but I never felt like it was completely unfair. It's just you have to get good, kind of a thing.
Very
But
much.
but if I had a gripe about this game, it's the bonus levels. I did not like them at all. I don't know if you did any of those, but you basically go into a basketball mini game, and
Yes.
basketballs are kind of shooting out of cannons, and you got to use your head. You got to throw your head to hit the basketballs up into the air and try to hit it into moving basketball hoops that are kind of moving at the top. And then every now and then bombs come out, and you don't want the bombs to go through the hoop, because if the bomb accidentally goes through the hoop, then you lose that cannon. And there's 2 cannons, and they tell you how many balls you got to get. And these bonus, they're not timed. It's until 2 bombs go in, or until you get the number of shots basketballs you got to get in.
Yep.
And it's not, you can go 2-3 minutes of missing basketballs, not getting anything in. And the further you get in the game, the more baskets you have to make.
I think the first one that I came across, it's like 5 or something like
5,
that.
which
Yep.
wasn't too bad. But later on, it was like I had to do 10, 15, I think it was,
Yeah. So
maybe. And it's like it was going on for over 5 minutes, and I'm like, I just kind of want to get back to the game. Like, what? I don't even know what I'm doing this for. Like, I don't even know how I got in here. Like, it's like, what just even happened? And now and it's just such a different feel, and it's so weird. So, that not my favorite part of the game. That was definitely not my favorite, and I guess, um, and then you'd get a number. You'd get a number afterwards. And I'm like, what is this number for? If you beat the bonus, you got a number. So I did look up, and apparently at the end of the game, if you beat every single bonus level, you get the numbers. It's 4 or 5 of them, and then you can enter those numbers as a code after the game, after credits, and it brings you to a bonus boss.
Yep.
So which is just kind of strange, which my understanding is doesn't really have anything to do with the actual game, like a story or anything like that. It's just like,
No, it's the Sega president's office.
is that what it's supposed to be?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I,
Yep.
I saw a video, and it looks like money is coming down, like coins are falling down to hurt
Yep.
you and stuff like that. You got to dodge, and yeah, that's that's kind of funny then. Um, and you can't just input the code from, like, get a code online. It sounds like every fresh playthrough, the code is randomized, so you have to play through the game and get your specific code.
Yeah, that makes sense.
um so man, it's just so much time trying to get those baskets in that I'm like, I don't know if this is worth it.
Yeah, it's and the secret boss is the Sega president, so that's kind of funny that they throw that in there.
That is good. I like that. I like that. All right, so maybe it's worth it. I don't know.
And just when you look at the structure of the game, like there's 10 acts if you do the bonus act, so like you're not even halfway through, which is
That's crazy.
insane.
I put quite a bit of time just to get as far as I did. Um, I think it's one of the other things we haven't really talked about is the power ups. So the there's opportunities throughout the game to kind of throw your head at this little guy that's got different symbols kind of like flashing on his
Yep.
stomach or something. I don't really
Yeah,
know.
it's weird.
It's weird. And it's depending on when you hit the guy with your head, whatever symbol is on his body represents the power up you get. So you can get like a power up that like splits, where you kind of throwing 3 projectiles instead of your head.
Yep.
Basically, it's almost like a mask you put on most of the time, or some kind of hat or something that gives you a different ability. So I'm trying to remember them all. I know there's a projectile. I should have looked it up. Um, there was one that I couldn't figure out what the point of it was, or it put you to sleep. But I guess I figured out later on. I think what it does is heal you, but it puts you to sleep like in the middle of the level, and enemies are still running around trying to get you. Um, there is one where you can freeze the enemy, which is with the enemies on the screen, which can be helpful. I don't know if you've got a list of power ups
Yeah, I'm
there.
looking at they're all just different heads.
Yeah.
So the person that you were describing is called Headcase. That holds all the power ups. There are a total of 18 heads.
Oh wow.
There's Airhead, Bombhead, Empty Head, Featherhead, Head Trip, Liberty Head, lots of heads, Pig Head, Pinhead, Protector Head, Rocket Head, Slammer Head, Snooze Head, Spike Head, Super Head, Ticker Head, Vacuum Head, Warhead, and Bye Bye Head,
Jeez.
which
Yeah.
is
I didn't even.
ridiculous.
I don't think I saw half of those.
No.
Like, yeah. There's one that made probably the hammer one or whatever you were saying. I feel like that one made. I think I did that one because I think it made your head heavier, so it could like
Yep.
hit things and knock things over and stuff like that.
So that's sleep. That's Slammer Head.
Hammerhead. Okay. Well, hammerhead sounds good too.
It is, yeah, pretty much makes you be able to slam through things.
There was one that and I couldn't even tell you which one it was of the ones you just said, but it basically get put like you're almost like your head became full of spikes, and you could like almost like a sea urchin or something like that, and you could throw it, and then whatever it attached to would stick and pull your body with it. Um,
Yeah,
beyond
spike head.
spike head, yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Um, and so that was needed a couple of times or once or twice as far as
Yeah,
I got anyway to kind of get through an area. I mean, the nice thing is once you lose, the power-ups are don't last forever or until you get hit. They last, they're all timed for a certain amount of time, and then you lose them. But usually the head case, was it? See, that's what you said was the was that the guy's
yeah,
name?
yeah.
All
Head
right.
case.
Yeah. He would just kind of reappear. Um, as soon as your power up ran out, if you're still in the same area. Um, they a lot of times he was like he would appear during boss battles and stuff like that as well. So you kind of just keep doing that. Um, and sometimes you needed them to get past an area anyway, or to reach bonus level or yeah, bonus levels, bonus points, or even to defeat a boss. The problem is that sometimes though your timing would be off and you kept getting the wrong power up for the
Yep.
situation. There's nothing worse than like getting a sleep one in the middle of like a
Yeah.
boss.
This. Well, if you're hurt, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah, that's
You can
true.
go to sleep and heal up, but
Heal up, but
you might not have time to even do that whenever you're in the middle of the boss battle.
right, exactly. Um, so I mean, it was definitely creative, and I did like the variety of the power ups. Um, but yeah, it was just yeah. I don't think I saw half of those that you just listed.
Well, it's just
Um,
amazing that they have 18 different heads in this game, like 18
right.
different power ups.
Yep. Um, the other thing I think mentioning the other main use of your head, other than to attack enemies or have the power ups, was there were certain like certain anchor points almost within the levels where you could, if you threw your head and it attached to one of those, you could pull your body back up to where your head was.
Yeah,
Um, Almost like attaching like Spider-Man's web, but there's no web in between. It's just a
using a
dead
puppet
point.
string.
Just yeah, really, exactly. To kind of pull yourself up on ledges, um, or to different enemies and stuff like that, to kind of get around.
Yeah, it's pretty. I just noticed the pig head, like what it looks like. It's kind of funny looking.
What does that do? I don't remember seeing that one.
It gives him the ability to shoot stars out of his snout.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I feel like you got that one in the demo, but I don't think I actually saw it. So when you
yeah,
first, yeah, the first part of the game actually puts you in like a little demo area where you can try out the different power ups, um, kind of get used to the mechanic of throwing your head to attach to different things.
yeah,
And you can spend as much time in that demo level as you want, just kind of walking around trying things out. And I definitely recommend doing that because, like you said, the controls are not that they're not bad controls, they just take some getting used to. And they're not difficult to understand or anything. It's just your timing has to be just kind of right.
yeah. Oh, here you go. Uh, you know how you said you didn't know how you got into the mini game?
Yeah.
That's also head case. If you
Oh,
get the Liberty head,
okay.
when you get the Liberty head, you're transported to the bonus stage to play basketball, which resembles a bustling New York City suburb.
Because of course.
Yeah, it all makes sense.
It does it actually makes sense within the course of this game. I'll give
Yes,
it that. So okay, well thank you because I really sometimes be like, how did I get here? What is going on? Why am I suddenly shooting baskets?
that's right. We're learning as we go.
That's right.
I mean, there's just I don't know how you make a game with this many power ups. Like, it, I don't even know if they're all available. I'm sure they're not all available in certain spots. The game,
No, because
like
yeah,
the one that gives you flight. You're not going to get that until you get to the area where you need to fly.
right. Yeah, I think it's just usually Headcase will have like three different power ups kind of rotating. It's not like all 18 power ups are constantly rotating.
Yeah, yeah,
It's just three or so for that area, that part of a level, and so that will either help you get to some bonus points or will move you forward. And the nice thing is that if you accidentally get the wrong power up, except for sleeping, you can usually just hit Headcase again
yeah. Switch it back out.
to switch it back out. So you're not like stuck with anything you don't want usually for very long. Sometimes Headcase will pop off the screen for a few seconds, and you just gotta stay alive, and then and then when he pops back on, get a different one if you need to.
So apparently, there's one that kind of turns your head into like a chicken.
Okay, I don't remember seeing that one either.
No, it says it's only available in the side-scrolling, uh, like shoot 'em up levels.
Okay, yeah. See, I want to get to those. I really want to get to those.
Well, I guess we can. I'm trying to think of it. What else we would want to talk about?
I guess we could mention the music. I thought the music was
Yeah.
actually really well done too.
No,
It
it's
fit.
yeah, it's spot
It
on.
fit. It's. I'd say it's better than average. Um, it's something you could definitely listen to outside of the game and be rocking.
That's
Yeah,
it's something that I don't really hear a whole lot of compliments for Treasures games is the music, but uh, the best way to put like their music's always competent towards the game itself.
yeah,
Uh, it, it's doing what it needs to do. It doesn't stand out. Sometimes that's good. Like sometimes it just kind of fits in and it works. Sometimes music can be distracting in some things as well for me anyway. Uh, but it just kind of keeps the pace of the game going pretty well, and
hmm
it works for the acts. Like it kind of fits
yeah,
in with the puppet show type storytelling.
yep.
It's all very fitting. Did we? I can't remember. Did we ever? I know we kind of danced around and talked about a little bit of uh, Treasure's game history at the beginning, but I don't think I ever even. This game didn't come out till '94. I think I kind of mentioned that, but uh,
And
Japan
like
would.
all close together, like it's not like it was
Yeah,
significantly
no, no. Japan
spread
got it
out.
in August. We got it in September, and Europe got it in October. And there's actually there's a Game Gear version of this game that I've passed up several times. Uh, Eventually, I might buy it. I know where it's at, but for like $10,
Oh wow.
it's a pretty cheap Game Gear game. Most Game Gear games are pretty cheap, but uh, I just want to get it and see what it plays like compared to the Genesis version.
Right.
And those came out day and date with the Genesis version, which is kind of wild.
Yeah. Yeah, that really is like all that close. First of all, I mean it's practically a worldwide release. And then also,
On two different
on
consoles.
two different consoles. So yeah.
I mean, I can't think of too many. Like, as far as Nintendo goes, like there's not a whole lot of things that are coming out on Game Boy at the same time they're coming out on Super Nintendo.
That's true.
Or at least the same, close to the same game. I don't know how much different Dynamite Headdy is on Game Gear, but uh, I have to imagine that it's going to be very similar, just probably pared down graphics.
Right.
But yeah, that's, I guess, since neither one of us really got to fight Dark Demon, I guess we'll just kind of leave that as a, whoever's listening, if you haven't played it yet, go play it and experience it for yourself. That's something that I want to do. I didn't watch a full playthrough of this or anything, so eventually I'll get good enough to beat the Dark Demon.
Yeah, I can't imagine how much damage he takes.
Yeah, they just seem
The other one, there's man.
super spongy. It's hard to it, it's one of those. I don't mind if a boss is difficult to beat, but if the only thing that's keeping me from it is just a damage sponge that I can't overcome, that
Mm-hmm.
it's it's kind of disappointing sometimes. But it's very common in this time period for for
Right.
bosses to be that way.
Yep.
Well, I think we'll move into the outro with that. I can give you a chance to speak some final words on this game, and then if you're good with that, then you can talk about anything you got going on. I know you do a little bit of streaming here and there, and
Yeah. So final thoughts on this game. It's definitely worth playing. Even I mean, if you're a Treasure fan, absolutely, positively, you need to add this game to something that you've played from their past. But even if you're not, just like fun, quirky, early, half of the 90s game, like you don't get much weirder than this. And
no,
for that for that, it's worth playing. And if you have NSO, why not, right? Like, or NSO plus, right, or whatever
yeah,
it's called. Like, no reason not to try it. It's just, it's wacky, it's weird. You almost wish that it was Nintendo, you know because it just kind of has that feel to it. And so I love it for that, and for the whole puppet show vibe that they went for, and I think nailed. Yes, it is hard, extremely hard, but I know that there's people out there that will be much better than I am, and so uh, we should go out and explain, or show us just what it takes to beat Dark Demon. Um, but yeah, other than that, my own content. So I do stream. I had to, due to work, take a hiatus from that. So it's kind of been pretty spotty. But as we get into summer, I will definitely be jumping back into that. Got some ideas. I mostly play. Well, all I really play is retro on there. But yeah, I'm not. I got some ideas, but nothing definitive of what's going to come next. The last thing I really did was play through a Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. So you can find that actually on my YouTube channel if you search Spider Shan 8, I believe. I know that's what I am on Twitch as well. And then I am on the Discord for Nintendo Dads and um, Retrologic and any of those related family of Discord podcasts, Discords. So always happy to chat on there. But yeah, other than that, I think that's what I got. So
awesome.
thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man. Anybody that's listening that hasn't witnessed a Shannon stream needs to hop on there and watch one.
Hey, thanks.
Uh, this is the point of the show where we'll announce the next show's game, and it's going to be a big one. That we're going to do the original Legend of Zelda. I'll
Woohoo!
probably have quite a few people sign up to be on that. I would imagine. Uh, I felt it's fitting to go back to the beginning and talk a little bit about that since Tears of the Kingdom's come out and being a direct sequel to Breath of the Wild that took its uh, basically went back and tried to be more like the original Legend of Zelda. So
Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
we will uh, we will commence that probably in a couple weeks. I'll probably just since we're not going to have an additional retro rewind game for June, gives me a little bit more time to space this out and catch up, and it also gives anybody that wants to play some of the original Legend of Zelda a chance to do so. That's listening if they want to come on and talk about it later. But yeah, no, I can't wait to talk about that game. It's been a long time. I kind of tried to steer clear of things like the Legend of Zelda for a little while and kind of spotlight some games that people might not hear about or have played. But kind of getting to the point now where I want to talk about some of these things. So
I mean,
it's
they're
been
so
on the list for
so
a while.
iconic, right? Like it's so iconic. So I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one that it's like a cornerstone of what um, got a lot of people into like really into actual gaming,
Yeah,
right? I mean, at least I know that is for me, and not that I'll dive into it right now, but you know,
yeah,
it's definitely a cornerstone that I just yeah, I love the series and love that game
yeah.
right from the first game.
And I want to talk about all the games, but you know, trying to find some things that maybe don't have an episode somewhere else. Maybe something that other people aren't talking about. So
There you go.
that's kind of what I mean by putting these ones off. Like, there's a million places you can go listen to an episode on Super Mario Brothers, the
Right.
or any of those. So whenever we're talking about, there's probably not a whole lot of people talking about Dynamite Headdy either. Uh, so
Probably not.
just we're gonna take one for the team. We're gonna talk some Zelda next time, and we're gonna have a blast. But that brings us to the end of this episode. Thanks for listening to On Topic Retro. It's part of the Retrologic family of podcasts. If you'd like to send in your personal experiences for the next show, but you don't have Discord, you can send them to ontopicretro@gmail.com. If you'd like to join our wonderful non toxic Retrologic Discord, you can either use the link that's included in the show notes for this episode, or you can visit retrologic.games. There's a link there, along with lots of other things. While you're there, you can read the blog, you can listen to any of the other uh, podcasts that are part of our family of podcasts. There's music related podcasts, movie related podcasts, you name it. We're kind of talking about it across podcast space. It seems like here lately. Uh, and then if you want to support us in any way, you can hop on there and buy some merchandise. There's shirts, stickers, coasters. Uh, we try to have a pretty good amount of different little things that you can buy if you want to support us there.
Do
That's it
it.
for hey, yes.
I'm
That's
using
it
the
for
coasters I'm using the coasters tonight.
yeah.
They work
I've
nice.
got a whole bunch. I'm ready to send them out for anybody that needs them. Uh, yeah, no, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Bye now.
See ya.